Hi, I'm Dee Dee,
And I'm Ken.
and we're at the cabin in the sky, and Ken has a new toy.
New tool. It's a new tool.
Well, it's a StepRanger, and we just had it delivered a week ago, and boy, have we been using it.
See, every spring when we come up to the mountains, we have to clear the trails, and we use this wheelbarrow to haul off what we clear. It is back-breaking work, pushing and pulling that thing.
It sure is.
Yeah, I know. Pushing and pulling that thing up and down the rugged trails.
Well, Ken found the StepRanger while doing a YouTube search, looking for a tool that might help with all this task. This is a review, but not like most. We're going to put this thing through its paces.
The StepRanger is used on flat ground mostly. Think of it as a way to move heavy stuff around workspaces or your yard, and it can climb some hills. But we wanted to know how it would do on our rugged backcountry North Carolina mountain trails. All right, when I first brought it out, I wanted to see how fast it would go on flat ground.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. I'm a guy.
You're a guy.
One of the things I want you to notice is this thing does not have a tight turning radius. That's not a big deal. You just have to know what you do.
Well, sometimes it matters.
Well, there are a few times that it has mattered a lot. But this is actually going up about a 20-degree incline at this point. And here it is coming back down, and you can see this thing can fly.
What are you doing? 25, 30 miles an hour?
And here, while you were shooting, you wanted me to make this corner, I guess, to see it sideways.
Yes. Well, I wanted to see if you could make that turn.
Okay, so this is a trail that we cleared, and you can see the idea here is that we can pick stuff up and put it in the StepRanger and haul it off. And this does hold about 3 times what our wheelbarrow did before.
And then some.
Yeah, and then some.
And the sides go down, the front goes down. You've got a mat that pulls it out, makes it so much easier. I cannot believe it.
So this trail right here is sitting at a bit of an angle. And as a result of that, you can see I had to step off of it to get it around this particular bush.
It's now gone. I cut it down yesterday.
I saw that bush is gone now, which is good. But sometimes you can ride it. Sometimes you do have to step off of it to get around some stuff. And the other part of it is just kind of an interesting thing. On this particular day, it had rained the day before, so the ground was wet. Where we've cleared the leaves, it was a little muddy and the leaves were wet. The tires do slip on the wet leaves if it's going up a hill, and you have to kind of learn to do that. The other thing here, you'll see that I'm actually standing on my left foot very heavily. You'll learn real quickly with this thing that when you're riding at an angle, even though the thing is very bottom heavy, it's not. We didn't try to turn it over, but it never even came close to being turned over on this terrain.
That's a very good thing.
It is a good thing because it is heavy.
Yes, you said it weighed about 1,000 pounds.
I believe that's what I read, that it weighs about 1,000 pounds. But what we found is, especially when climbing hills, you end up, when you're climbing a hill, you're actually leaning back a little bit. You try to lean forward, but you're naturally leaning back. The front wheels tend to kind of bounce. And when they bounce, you lose the ability to steer.
Oh. Well, you could go right off the deep end there, couldn't you?
You
into the
do.
woods?
You better. I found I keep my hand on the brake, and especially when coming downhill, you want your hand on the brake because you don't need any power going down a hill. And some of our hills are pretty close to 35 to 40 degrees.
I like my new nice little piles that I created for you.
You did a nice job creating piles.
Well, this is where you're doing your little turnaround. It's not because you were afraid if you got down there, you wouldn't be able to get back up with that load.
I was a little concerned that it might not climb that hill, and in a second you'll see it had some challenges climbing the hill. But in this particular case, I was able to back up and pull into our dump-off space. And then you're about to see a trick that we learned after a couple of days of clearing on a really easy way to get stuff off of the StepRanger.
I like the fact that we created that barrier so that the StepRanger doesn't keep going down.
Yeah, it's a little bit precarious there, but you can see what I did here is we opened the front gate, and the front gate opens independently of the other two sides. If you have to open a side, you have to open the front gate first, which is fine. It's just the way it is. But I ordered the mat because I wanted to protect the StepRanger from getting scratched. But what we found is the as you just saw there, the mat helped unloading the thing.
Instead of 30 trips back and forth, even though it's a shorter distance,
Yeah.
it was a whole lot easier just to haul the whole thing down and take it from there.
So the trail is rugged, as you can see. There's a lot of stumps on the trail. It is an angled trail so that there is a high side and a low side to the trail, which is really not ideal for driving any kind of vehicle on. But in this case, I decided I'm going to try backing down the hill. And what I found is when you're backing down, it really changes the center of gravity more toward the back wheels, which means the front wheels bounce more, and your capability of steering is way less. Plus, you're hanging. And as a result, I found it's just easier to step off of it and to just guide it down and use the brake to keep me slow.
This was where we had 3 piles. You got the first one, and I told you to go down to the lowest one and work your way up. Might be easier.
And remember, every other year we've done this with a wheelbarrow, which just absolutely wipes me out pushing that thing up the hill.
Well, we're not getting any younger, so it's getting harder and harder. We're going to have to leave it for the young'uns. It's good to be very well protective in your clothing when you're out here in the woods now that tick season is such a big deal.
And we're told it's a heavy tick season this year.
Yeah.
All right, so I started climbing back up, and as you can see, I'm walking it up, and then I jumped on it. And I got to this point, and it stuck.
Oh.
And the wheels are just spinning there because the ground's wet. They do offer mud tires as an option. I didn't buy that option. As you can see, if you understand the way that traction works, you just back it up and just hit it faster, and it'll go out after it.
I do want you to know that yesterday afternoon, when I was taking my load at dinner time to behind the garage, I got it stuck, and the back wheels were spinning, and I got in front of it, and I pushed, and I got myself out of it. I was so pleased with myself. You put a little oomph behind it, you can get it going.
So here's kind of an important point then. This is something that we learned, and that is using that mat to drag the load. And in this case, as long as you put the debris in so that it's not sticking out through the gates, it's real easy to just pull that mat off with the debris on the mat.
It works.
And then just drag it to where you need to be. I'm very glad that I ordered the mat.
I am too.
And it does protect the paint.
Of course it does.
I'll get the
Now we did notice that the little rubber stoppers on the gates are kind of...
So they do sell those. They're four for $4, so they're $1 a piece.
Okay.
I'm going to order a couple of boxes of them because we've already broken 3 of them, and there's only 4. So, and I want to definitely use those rubber bumpers because it protects the paint.
Exactly.
But that's something I'm going to recommend to anybody is just plan to go in and order more bumpers because they're not going to survive, and they're reasonably priced.
Yeah, that's good. Reasonably priced.
So when we started cleaning, this trail was completely covered with debris. And as you can see, we've done a nice job of clearing it. And there was there were 5 of us, and 2 of those were kids. And
There were 6 of us.
Oh yeah, there were 6 of us. Okay, there were 6 of us, and 2 were kids. And you know what? Everybody worked hard, and we only spent about a day out in the woods clearing this stuff. Once that stuff's down on the mat, Dee Dee was able to throw it then on the pile that's enough off the trail that you can't really see it from the trail. Over the season, this will turn to mulch, and then we'll ultimately turn to, in a couple of years, we'll turn there.
That was your first time on it.
Here we are.
Boy, you had fun.
StepRanger coming down our driveway.
Of course, we had to put the grandkids in it and give them an e-ticket ride.
And they loved it.
So thumbs up?
Thumbs up?
Yeah, I think we're glad we have that tool. The StepRanger is definitely a good asset for us in being able to use it to clear trails here in the mountains. I think as we more develop the trails so that they don't have as many stumps and as hills and valleys, that it'll be an easier tool to work with.
I agree, 100%. Good job, honey.